Hi, Elektra. Hi, everybody. It's Elektra Yao, entertainment lawyer and artist visa lawyer. Today, I wanted to talk about musicians and bands. A lot of the times I mention performers or graphic designers, but I want to talk to you guys today about bands. I think that sometimes when you're working creatively with people that you're really close to, it's really difficult to have conversations which seem at the beginning uncomfortable. But I think that you'll realize at the end of this video that these uncomfortable conversations are actually really helpful to protect all of the members in your band, all the members in your group. So internal band agreements should be established really at the onset of the band formation. So it doesn't matter like how big the band is, how small the band is, how many venues you've performed in or you haven't performed in. A contract is to protect you against future litigation. So even if you've just started off in like your parents' garage or in your apartment during COVID, you want to really establish at the beginning of your band the different responsibilities, the different liabilities that everybody will have. So for example, one thing that's really important to understand and to memorialize in your contract or in your internal band agreement is who makes the creative decisions. Who is responsible for selecting what your look will be? Who is responsible for selecting what you will be wearing on stage? These things might seem silly, but it's really important in the creative process. If you're a performer, you understand that the performance is not just only about the music, but it's also about engaging the audience. And one way to engage the audience is by curating the way that you look and dress and sound on stage. So who is making these creative decisions? Who has a final say with these creative decisions? Number two, who is going to get paid what and for what? So for example, if you are the singer slash songwriter, are you getting paid to only sing your music, or are you going to distribute the money only for your compositions? So like I said, these are sometimes difficult conversations to have, but at the end of the day, if you establish how the money is distributed and who it's distributed to, it'll make sense for you to be able to move forward as a band and to concentrate on the artistry. Another thing that a lot of people or a lot of people who are in bands forget to include in their contract is whether or not they want to seek representation with an agent or a manager. And if they are seeking representation with an agent or a manager, who is going to be dealing, who is the face that's going to be dealing with these people that are managing your team? Another thing to consider is how do you want to structure your band legally? Do you just want to be a band without any sort of legal structure or protection? Or do you want to maybe open up an LLC or incorporate a company? This will determine a lot of different things that you will do in the future. So for example, a trademark. If you guys want to trademark your name, and I'll talk about why that's so important, if you want to trademark your band name, who's going to trademark it? Is it the band LLC that's going to trademark it, or is it the individual person? And if it's the individual person, who? Is it the singer? Like the face of the band, kind of like, for example, when I see videos with like Maroon 5, I always get weirded out because I only see the singer. Like I don't see all the other bands. Like sometimes the focus is just on the singer. And that's not a bad decision. It's just something that you need to discuss and agree upon with your bandmates. So why is it important to understand what sort of legal structure your band has? Well, if you're filing that trademark, like I said, you need to understand who's filing it. And why would you even want to file a trademark? Well, if you guys are touring, which you should start to think about doing, if you guys are touring, you need to figure out what you're going to be selling, right? When you're selling something, when you're selling merchandise for your touring, you're not just selling, the name of the band or a people or products. Don't think of it as the cup or the t-shirt. Think of it in terms of, the likeness, the images, these rights. These are what you will be selling. So who is going to get what? You don't want to have that conversation after the fact. You want to establish which likeness, which image, which name you're going to be selling to your fans, so that you can understand and not have issues with your bandmates, because you should be focusing on touring and making money. And we can do a whole other video about touring, because touring is is so important in terms of developing your career as an artist to get to six figures. You can absolutely have a six-figure career touring. But these are things that I think a lot of bands don't think about. This internal agreement should be structured to protect each individual band member and to identify the roles of each different band members, and to start to create a structure from which that band can monetize and make money. Again, this is not about how big or how small or how many gigs you have or haven't had. This is about legal protection. And legal protection starts at the beginning. It doesn't come in at the end when you're in litigation or potentially in litigation and arguing with your bandmates. This starts at the beginning of your journey. So I hope that this was helpful. And maybe what I'll do is I'll post like a sample internal band agreement so you guys can see what I'm talking about, so you guys can see what it actually looks like, so that you can start to have these conversations with your actual bandmates instead of maybe leaving this on the back burner. Because again, all of this is to protect the money, to protect how the money is received and how the money is distributed. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you will start to have these conversations with the people in your band, so that the band can have a fruitful, long-lasting career. So the band can become an LLC, so the band can trademark, so the band can sell merchandise and make money off that and tour. So this was a lot of information, but the most important thing to remember is have that conversation with your bandmates and start to memorialize and write down on paper what the roles are, who's going to be making what, and most importantly, who is going to be in charge of those creative decisions. So I'm glad that everyone listened, and I hope that you guys learned. I will see you tomorrow to discuss artist visas. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.